The Butcher's Stall, Port Harcourt, Nigeria, 2004. The morning the search began, a thin mist hung over the Elechi River like a curtain the city didn't want lifted. Police trucks lined the dirty road near the bridge, their engines idling softly. Officers moved about, marking the area with yellow tape. Curious onlookers gathered on the banks, some murmuring prayers, others holding photos of lost loved ones. Detective Michael Oworu stood near the bridge rail, hands on his hips, watching as the first pump engine coughed to life. He could smell diesel, rust, and the faint scent of roasting meat drifting from Benji's stall not far behind. "Keep that thing running steady," he called to the engineers. "I want this water level down by noon." Chika Nwosu arrived shortly after, camera slung over his shoulder, notebook tucked under one arm. "Feels strange, doesn't it?" he said, squinting at the river. Like the ground itself is holding its breath. Oworu didn't answer. He was watching Benji. Benji watches too. Benedict Benji Okoro stood behind his stall, wiping his knife with a rag. His movements were calm, practiced, almost ritualistic. He seemed unfazed by the crowd, the police, or the loud hum of machines drawing water from the riverbed. Sergeant Musa walked over to him. "Morning, Benji. No business today." Benji smiled thinly. "Man must eat, sa. People still hungry, even when police day do their work." Musa frowned. "You know fears say this place go spoil your market?" "Spoil?" Benji laughed quietly. "Bridge don't spoil since. But people always come back. People always hungry." His words hung in the humid air, unsettling in their simplicity. Draining the river. By midday, the engineers had reduced the water level by nearly half. Thick brown mud emerged where the current used to run, and the smell of rot rose with it. Officers covered their noses. Then came the first shout. "Sir, something's caught in the net." Oworu rushed forward, boots sinking into sludge. The divers hauled up a tangled mass, plastic bags, reeds, and what looked like a rusted frame. As they hosed it clean, the shape took form. A motorbike, its metal eaten by rust. Chika recognized it instantly. "That's Okachukwa's bike," he whispered. "The mechanic." Oworu turned sharply. "You sure?" He painted it red. "Look, the faded color on the tank." The crowd murmured. For the first time, the legend of the voices started feeling real. The discovery. Hours later, the pumps uncovered more. A handbag, a sandal, then a human skull, its surface pale and clean from years underwater. The sight fell silent. Even the hum of machinery seemed to fade. Officers stood frozen until Oworu barked, "Get the forensic team here, now." Within minutes, officers were combing through the mud with gloved hands. Bones surfaced, one after another, some whole, some fractured. When they counted the remains, there were at least 7 bodies visible. And still, the mud shifted like something beneath wasn't done giving up its dead. Benji's face. As the evidence piled, Oworu's eyes kept drifting toward the Siya stall. Benji had stopped cutting meat. He stood motionless, staring at the river with a blank expression. Chika approached him. "You used to work near this river, didn't you?" Benji looked at him slowly. "Everybody in this town work near water. Water feed us, wash us, take us when we die. You ever lose anyone to this river?" Benji's lips twitched, almost a smile. "River never take Hushino call." The tone chilled Chika. He turned away, uneasy. The underground fine. Late that afternoon, one of the divers stumbled on something unusual near the base of the bridge. A small concrete opening sealed with corroded metal sheets. It looked like an old drainage tunnel, long forgotten. They pried it open. A foul stench burst out, a mix of decay and dampness that made the men gag. Inside was a hollow space just large enough for a man to crawl through. Oworu climbed down himself, flashlight in hand. The beam swept across the narrow chamber and froze on something glinting, a gold chain, a phone casing, a pile of shoes, watches, and faded clothing. He exhaled sharply. "Souvenirs," he muttered. At the far end of the tunnel, the light revealed darker stains on the wall, something almost black, soaked into the concrete. Blood, old, but unmistakable. The confrontation. When Oworu emerged, his expression had changed, cold, focused. He walked straight to Benji's stall. "Have you ever noticed anyone using that tunnel?" he asked. Benji wiped his hands. "No, sa. I mind my business." "Your business seems close to the dead." Benji met his gaze, calm, Steady. Dead belong to God, not me. Owuru motioned to his men. Search this stall. The officers moved in, lifting planks, checking the corners. Behind the stall, hidden beneath an oil drum, they found a square wooden hatch, a trapdoor, leading straight down into the same drainage tunnel. Owuru stared at Benji. You mind explaining this? For the first time, Benji's smile faltered. The arrest. By nightfall, the site was flooded with officers, reporters, and frightened locals. They found more evidence beneath the stall, clothing fibers, blood traces, even pieces of rope. Benji was handcuffed quietly. He didn't resist. As officers led him away, the crowd began to shout, some in rage, some in disbelief. A woman screamed, "You ate them, didn't you?" Benji turned his head slightly, eyes blank. "River fed me," he said softly, "and I fed her back." The final echo. That night, the pump stopped. The river was still, drained and hollow. Owuru stood on the bridge long after everyone left. The air was quiet, heavy. Then, faintly, from the dark tunnel below, came a sound. Not voices this time, but the low, gurgling rush of water returning. Chica, standing beside him, whispered, "So it was never ghosts after all." Owuru replied, without looking away, "No, just a man who learned how to make the city forget."